It strengthens relationships and it improves teamwork. And a happy team is a productive team. I really, really believe this. And it starts from the top down. Welcome to the Expansion Code. I'm Heather, and I could not be more excited to finally launch this podcast. This is the space where we dive into all things business, growth, leadership, and team expansion. I am really passionate about building something bigger than myself, sharing knowledge, and creating opportunities for others to thrive. I started solo and now I lead a team of over 50. So trust me, I know the highs and the challenges and the incredible moments that come with scaling a business. Throughout this podcast, I'll be sharing insights, strategies, and conversations with some truly incredible guests. We are going to cover everything from marketing and leadership to mindset shifts and business expansion. So my goal is to give you real actionable takeaways that you can apply to your own journey. Let's dive in, learn together, and unlock what's next. Welcome to the Expansion Code. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Expansion Code with me, Heather Dick, your host. Today is going to be a quick little digestible episode, I like to call them. We are going to talk about team building. So one of the things that I work with my clients when it comes to coaching and consulting is team building. So that would be taking your solo business to a team of 2, 3, 4, 5, 50, and things I've learned along the way as I've been growing my own team, we're at over 50 now, is that team building and bonds is crucial to the success and the culture of your business. I'm going to give you a few examples of things you can do with your teams, things that cost money and things that don't cost money. But I haven't always done team building things on purpose. I am a very social person naturally. And so I think that I was doing team building kind of by accident. And then when I really started to lean into purposely creating events for the team that was just for them and seeing how much value came out of it and not just I appreciate you from like my point. It was they've created these relationships now. Lots of the people on my team, like for Blush, they've created lifelong friendships and big time. And even people that have left the team are still friends with people that are on the team. And so that says so much about the fact that at one point, everyone just had the same place that they worked with. And that wasn't just what brought them together. It was the fact that they genuinely wanted to be with one another as friends. And so I'm going to give examples, like I said, because it doesn't always have to be a big to do. I think that there's a lot of ways that you can do team building exercises or events, nights that just bring people together. And you can even, I mean, heck, you can do charity work together. You can do things that help your community. So let's dive into some examples of that. And then, we'll talk about why it's important to do these. So I have never actually done this with my team. I find it a little bit challenging to do an offsite or a retreat only because we have so many people. Doing and okay, I'll organize my thoughts here. If I'm doing a retreat or an offsite event for my team, I would like to cover the cost of that. And logistics of that when you have a team of 50, I mean, even at 1.20, it's a lot of money. So it depends on where your company is at and how much extra cash you have laying around for something like that. But I will say, I know individuals that have done, a trip to the mountains or a weekend spa adventure with their team of 5, and it was game changing for them. So that's an idea. Obviously, these are ones that cost money, so you need to budget that and allocate enough money away for something like that. But if I had the opportunity, man, I have always wanted to take the Blush Girls to Vegas. I feel like it'd be a gong show. I know it would be. We'd almost have to burn our phones after, but it would be so fun, or like Mexico or something like that. Um, and everyone has different opinions on whether the business owner should be comping the cost for these events. So use your discretion. Maybe you don't. Maybe your team members chip in a little bit. There's many ways to skin a cat, as they say. Escape rooms are a great idea. I know that those were really, really big for a while and are still around. It's nice because you're doing something that's fun for the individuals, but it also requires teamwork. So, you could, this sounds like very kindergarten-y. That's not a word, but you get it. You could do something where you're strategically placing certain people together, people that might have a little bit of an issue or like, don't really like see eye to eye. Um, Tread lightly on that because, you know your team best. These are obviously just examples and suggestions. As we're going through things, you're going to be like, there's no way I can do that with my team, or that's a really good idea. So, just think about that. Cooking classes, we've done this with Blush. And again, this is kind of by accident. We just all kind of wanted to do a cooking class. It was so much fun and so many belly laughs. And, I think that at the time, actually, each individual paid for their own cooking class. It was like $80. So, you're not asking anyone to break the bank, and not everyone went. There was only like six or eight of us, but it was just so much fun. And you're creating something too, which is also nice. You get to take something home. Um, Attending a game together. I mean, again, just think about my team, like going to a hockey game with 35 blush girls would just be chaos, but it would be so fun. Again, so the size of your team matters, and not everyone's going to go. It's not everyone wants to go, and that's okay. I think that making certain team events or activities mandatory is okay, and making some not mandatory is okay as well. It's you're trying to support your team when you're doing these things. You're not trying to force two people to hug that don't want to touch each other, like this isn't actually kindergarten. So you're doing this for the benefit of them and for the benefit of your team, and just the culture and the vibes and the energy of your studio and your space. um Personal development workshops. So this is a good idea. I'm going to give you a couple of examples of ones that I did in my team, that kind of fall under this, and also a wellness category. So, being hairstylists and makeup artists in the bridal industry, that's part of the company that I run. We do over 300 weddings a year. That's a lot. That is so hard on the body. Our backs hurt constantly, our wrists, our everything, knees, and we're not getting any younger. So, what I did one year, which I found quite valuable, was I brought in, and it was a collaboration. I actually didn't pay this company. I brought a physiotherapist in to give the girls tips on how to have longevity on their bodies. We called it a body clinic, and what they did was invaluable. It was things that the girls could do while they're driving from job to job. So like doing neck stretches in the car, things that they can do when they're mindful when they're standing and working on a job. It was awesome. They loved it. And it's also something that everyone kind of relates to. Everyone on the team, all of our backs hurt. So, we like bonded over that. And the physiotherapist that came was just incredible. So, the girls really, really liked that. We've also done this one might fall under continuing education for the team, but we've done speed clinics. So, things that will help the team get more efficient on their job. That's a little bit specific to our industry because we're working with bridal clients and we never want to be late and we want to make sure that we're running on time. But I'm sure there's lots of examples that you can pull in your industry, so whether that's a lash client, efficiency is a big thing as well. Um, Massage, keeping on time, there's lots of examples of ways that you can do specific clinics for your team. Um, and they'll just get lots of value out of it. A wellness idea that I did that cost money, it wasn't cheap, but it was certainly worth its weight in gold, was a Reiki workshop. So I had met a Reiki practitioner who was actually looking at renting space, actually, and she talked about doing workshops for the team and if anyone would be interested in it. Now, out of 30 people, not a ton of people were interested. I think we had between 5 to 10 people each Sunday, and we did it consecutive Sundays in a row for a month. But what we learned in those workshops was it exceeded my expectations far, far beyond. Reiki, if you are unfamiliar with it, it's a energy work. So I am a very big believer in energy work, and I'm a very big believer in the fact that we exchange energy on a regular basis, especially being service providers where we're really in close contact with our clients. I mean, we're touching our clients. Um, and so, as you know, if you are a service provider, even if you're not touching your client, you know how easy it is to take on someone's energy. And it's not just your client, even your team members. Heck, your partner, for instance, if your partner comes home and has had a really crappy day and you've had like the best day ever, it's really hard to not get affected by them, right? And no one's wrong or right in those situations. It's just a fact. It's part of life. And so this Reiki workshop, I thought that it was going to be a lot of energy work and like how to protect yourself from your clients or your team members, which was great. It was, but really it was a lot of self love and we all need that, especially being in the beauty industry. We're so hard on ourselves, being moms and females, and it's just we cried almost every single session, and we shared so much together. And I will say the only thing I wish that we had done differently is that I wish I made that mandatory because people that should have benefited from that class weren't there. And because I don't like to force people to do things, I didn't make it mandatory, but darn it, I should have. Because man, the things that we covered in that class, we all struggle with. So just give me an episode idea. Let's talk about Reiki. Let's talk about energy work. Yeah, so those are some really good ideas. Also, this actually doesn't cost money, but volunteering as a team, it might cost you money in the sense of you might want to pay your team members for their time. But if you're a hair salon, there's lots of times like haircuts for the homeless, um, oh my goodness, the word is escaping me, like, kitchens. Oh, heck, what is it? Like food kitchen? No, where they serve, houseless people. There's just so many things that you can do. Our company gets asked to provide services for a lot of charities for their runway shows, on a regular basis, first responders, things like that. So anytime and any opportunity that we have to work with individuals like that and work on a charity where you're giving back, even though we're still doing a job, the team is bonding over it because, a lot of these charities, oh, it's always eye-opening, We we get so caught up in our daily lives that we kind of forget that it's a lot worse out there. And so it's really great to give your team perspective, especially if you have someone that's got that like, I don't want to say it, but like a high horse kind of woe is me, mentality. It's nice to humble them a little bit, bring them back down to earth a little, you don't have it that bad, sister. Um, and of course, always you can do dinner or happy hour. That's a fun one to do. I've done that in networking groups before. Happy hour is great because, hopefully it won't be a huge bill. Um, I've had the idea of doing like a monthly happy hour with the team. I've never really implemented it. Um, but anything is possible. Try it out. And if no one comes, no one comes. If no one shows up, then no one shows up. But it's nice to have a few options that cost money. And I'm going to give you a few options as well for team building exercises or events or activities that you can do that don't cost any money. So one thing I've seen a lot of professional buildings do, like corporate companies, is they'll do a lunch and learn. Um, so you could invite your product line, a hair rep in, you could do a Reiki practitioner, you could do something like that, something that's donating their time. And depending on the way that your company is set up, obviously, if everyone takes their lunch at the same time, this is a perfect opportunity. You could even do it. If you want to be like, hey guys, I'm going to do a lunch and learn today, and I'm going to cover taxes. Wow, that's like the most boring topic ever. But, you can cover whatever. It's just something fun to do. Everyone eats lunch, most people. And, it's nice everyone's together. Okay, we need to take a little break because, shocker, this podcast is brought to you by my flagship company, Blush, and I need to give a shout out. So, not only does Blush sponsor my lavish lifestyle, it also sponsors this podcast. Shouts. If you know me, you know that I do not play around when it comes to beauty and self care, and that's why Blush is your one stop shop for looking and feeling your best. We genuinely do it all: hair, makeup, nails, massage, tattoo, medi spa. Basically, if it makes you feel like a goddess, we probably offer it. So, whether you're looking for a fresh balayage or a relaxing massage or a little of that I woke up like this glow, we've got the experts to make it happen. Think of it as self care, but with a little extra love, sunshine, and family. And actually, with our most recent expansion, we now have a private gym, physiotherapy, chiropractic services, and a lot more to help your body. So, if you are ready to treat yourself, book an appointment at Blush Artistry because, let's be honest, life's too short for bad hair and uneven eyeliner. You can find us at blush-artistry.ca or over on Instagram at blushartistrymua. Back to the episode. Depending on where you live as well, you could do outdoor walks, hikes. Our city has a beautiful river valley. Maybe that's something that we explore this year is like, hey, on a Sunday morning, let's go for a walk in the river valley. Let's ride some bicycles. Like it's fun to be a child again. And it's fun to do things that aren't necessarily always work related or personal growth or development related. It doesn't always have to be making you better. Sometimes it's just doing stuff together. That's it's a nice change to a team building exercise. And you know what? If you can kind of just say, "Hey guys, 3 Sundays from now, does everyone want to go for a walk in the river valley and do a little picnic?" Oh, what a great idea! That's so fun. I love trivia. Not the best at it, but I love it. It's and lots of pubs have trivia night. Go for a trivia night somewhere. You could make it in like ahead of time. You could just say, listen, like I'd like to have a trivia night. Anyone that wants to come, they've got happy hour or whatever, you can cover the bill. You could not. You could even do something like this at your place of work. So you get Trivial Pursuit, or you could play a board game. There's always options for like a game night. It doesn't necessarily have to be something at a restaurant. And you could do also a coffee. Let's go for coffee on Saturday morning. I mean, Saturday mornings in my industry are always busy, but there's a lot of options for that. One thing that I found that was great team building was when we are setting up for an event. So we have multiple events every year for clients. Is getting the team to help set up for those events. First of all, free labor. Just kidding. I love you guys, but it actually is free. Well, no, I paid them, but it's it, this last time I spilled a can of paint. No joke. And it's something we all laugh about now, and we think about, oh my God, remember when Heather spilled that like almost black paint on the concrete floors and we all had to scrub it, and she was taking videos of us. So that's a fun thing to do. One of the girls was building a flower arch at the same time, and the other girl was moving furniture, and it was just it was a nice thing. I mean, it was kind of backbreaking work, but we were having a good time. I ordered some food for us. It was lovely. Speaking of events, I forgot to say this in the past one. Every year, I have a pool party for the team, and we rent a backyard that is incredible. Now, I don't know, obviously, whoever is listening to this, I don't know where you live or what you have access to. So if this is a little bit too pigeonholed, sorry. But I rent this backyard, we hire a DJ, we chill out all day long. We do it in the summertime, obviously. We'll do it on a Sunday. So usually no one has anything to do. We'll try to do it a little bit later in the day so people don't feel like they're like another task to get up for and set an alarm. We'll have everyone brings food. So I don't have to worry about food. And we just do like a collaborative potluck kind of type thing. Usually there's so much food. This actually started at one of the previous Blush girl, her mom's pool. So like meet someone with a pool and ask them to use it. It doesn't always have to be something that you're renting. Um, Heck, set up a kiddie pool, go in someone's backyard, play yard games, have a fire, have a barbecue. It doesn't have to be this huge, elaborate, Instagrammable thing. Always starts somewhere. And it actually just started in one of the mom's backyards. So that's a fun example, but it costs money because we had a DJ. Don't have a DJ, play music on your Bose speaker, have everyone do a potluck. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. You got a Sunday. A Sunday. Um, we started doing this quite a while ago, a clothing swap. Man, it's so valuable. I love doing clothing swaps. I love like the whole waste not, want not, and like one man's trash is another man's treasure. Malcolm Moore. Um, It's fun. It's a great way to purge your closet, which we should be doing that way more on a regular basis. It gets a bunch of blush girls together. You don't even have to donate anything. You can just come and pick through everyone's stuff. Everyone's got great style on the team, so you know you're going to find some gems. And at the end of it, one person we draw a hat, that unlucky person, gets to take all of the clothing to a charity that needs clothing items. So again, costs nothing. Actually, if anything, it benefits the people on the team because now they're purging their closet and getting new items. And it's a fun little afternoon. I will say you need tables, clothing racks are ideal. If you can't, you can make work, but you should have some sort of clothing racks or tables. We just recently did this one with the blush girls at our studio. So we have an event space and we have a huge room that's just got white walls. You don't need this. It could just be a TV. But we did a PJ and a popcorn party. Oh my gosh. It was so much fun. We watched Clueless. That's my favorite movie. And everyone brought candy, pop. I have a popcorn maker. We made popcorn. It took us forever to figure out, but it was just fun. It was relaxed. We all wore pajamas. I wore an eye mask. I brought my puppy. It was chaotic. But these are fun things that we're doing. And this was actually an idea of one of the blush girls because I have a client appreciation party every year in November. It's the end of the year. It's this huge party. Hundreds of people go, but not all the blush girls go because they don't like huge parties. And we don't really do a Christmas party otherwise, that's kind of built in. And so one of the blush girls said we should have a PJ party. And I was like, bro, that's a great idea. Plan it. And so they planned it and it was great. It was a really, really fun way to get together, relax, chill out. We filmed a couple reels, which was fun. That's another thing too. If you're doing these team building events, you can get some content in there too. Kill two birds with one stone. Um, yeah. So now that we've gone over a few ideas on team building exercises, ones that cost money and ones that don't. I'm just going to reiterate how valuable it is and why we want to do team building. So, not it strengthens relationships and it improves teamwork. And a happy team is a productive team. I really, really believe this. And it starts from the top down. So, if you're coming in on a regular basis as a business owner, or solo entrepreneur, and you've got this like grumpy, like Eeyore, that's a Winnie the Pooh reference, Eeyore, attitude, and you're like, this sucks. I mean, okay, bro, you kind of suck to be around, and your team is just going to take that on. Please don't get me wrong. There's certainly been days where I'm like, wow, I just got a surprise $10,000 bill. I'm not very happy right now. Obviously, life happens, but when we're doing these planned exercises or events for our teams, it makes them happier, it genuinely does, and there's just so much proof in, collaborative work and group exercises. So, think about that. Your team wants to win, give them the tools, to win in a team setting. Another thing that I really like is that team events do is it allows everyone to get to know one another, and you can see each other as a human being instead of just someone that is potentially your competition. If you have like a chair rental salon or you have a business, like I have a business that has two estheticians in it that offer basically the same service, they're not pinned against one another. Maybe one girl brings her baby and the other girl talks about how she's struggling to have babies. you know all of a sudden we're relating to these individuals that were working next door, as people. So it breaks down that barrier of I want your clients, and you start to realize like, oh, there's enough clients for all of us. I love that aspect of team building. Um, and it's proven that when people are happy, they stay there. if you want to keep the people on your team and you want to keep them there and you want to keep them happy, you need to show them that you care. You need to show them that you appreciate them. And it can't just be a text message. Unfortunately, as far as that does go, especially if it's a surprising text message, like, hey, man, I really appreciate the fact that you water the plants every week. Like that goes a long way for sure. Don't get me wrong. But you're the owner, you're the boss, you're the boss. You need to put some effort in and you need to make sure that your team knows that you love them and you appreciate them. And planning events like this, as much as it might feel a little daunting and it's the last thing you want to do, unfortunately, it's your responsibility as a business owner. And that's a little bit of tough love right there. My mom dealt it to me, so I'm going to deal it to you. It also, and this is one of the best things that I see from team building exercises, is it helps show team members' weaknesses and strengths. So when you see people in group settings, especially if you're able to pay attention to their mannerisms and their isms, I call them, you can see where someone will excel and where someone maybe isn't excelling as much. And when you're putting people in different positions on the team, for instance, let's say you're looking for someone to be your new retail manager and you've got stacks and stacks and stacks of retail and your previous manager is stepping out. Being in a group setting allows you to see problem solving skills, especially if it's like escape room or something like that. Or you're in the river valley and someone's bike tire pops. You see who panics, you see who like calms down and gets things done. And you see people that are just kind of neutral, which is great. You need someone for everything, but it allows you to psychoanalyze. That's actually the wrong word. It just allows you to see your people and who they are and what they're good at. And as a team leader and a business owner, that is your job. You are there to help your team succeed. And I am a true believer that it starts with you as a leader, even if you have independent contractors. Takeaways from this episode, I've given a bunch of examples of team exercises that you can do that cost money or are as close to free as possible. So my challenge to you, depending on where you are in the year when you're listening to this, maybe you try to get 3 team building events or exercises on the books for the year, because 3 is a lot. You know, we probably do about 3 to 5, and see where that takes you. And if you can, make a budget for it. So let's maybe do 2 close to free ones and 1 that costs $1,000 or something. You know your business, you know what you can afford. I think that would be really great, and that'll help you move things along, especially with your team, and build that morale and team retention. It was a pleasure, as always, talking to you about teams. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will talk soon. All right, another episode bites the dust. If you loved this conversation as much as I did, don't forget to hit follow, leave a review, or even send it to a friend you think would enjoy it. And because I like to keep things fun, we're always running giveaways with our amazing guests. So make sure to check with the show notes, our Instagram page, get in on the details on how to get the free stuff, because it's free and fun. And who doesn't like that? Another little disclaimer: while I love sharing advice and business wisdom, I am not your lawyer, I'm not your accountant, and I'm not your fairy godmother. If you do want to be best friends, though, you can hit me up. Everything on this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only, so no lawsuits, okay? Thank you for hanging out with me today. If you'd like to hang out more, you can find me on Instagram at I am Heather Dick and at The Expansion Code. And all of our free resources and consulting packages are on the website, www.theexpansioncode.ca. I appreciate you being here more than you know. I will see you next time.